Fitzpatrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Welcome back to the Jet Take podcast. We've been saying this for a while that we need to change the theme song, like the Fitzpatrick to Decker play. And my argument was always, well, we haven't really had a moment since then that's been, that positive or brought that much joy to Jets fans' faces. Well, Monday night might have changed that, and I haven't consulted Kyle about this, but we may have to change the soundbite to Sam Darnold's first touchdown pass, because what a game that was. And honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that from the Jets. I've seen the Jets win games by a large margin. I've seen the Jets play well on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football, whatever. They've played well in prime time. They've even had games like that play from Fitzpatrick to Decker, where we're presumably going to the playoffs. They've had plenty of good games in the past, but there's been nothing like the complete domination that I saw on Monday night. Outside of the first play, it was entirely New York Jets domination. And not just domination, but domination with hope. It was a young team. It's not a team with Brandon Marshall and an aging Darrelle Revis and an aging Nick Mangold and Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is a team with a 21-year-old quarterback, a 21-year-old safety, a 24-year-old defensive end. There are 20-year-olds all over the field, and the Jets are dominating. They had a special teams touchdown. They had 5 interceptions on defense. Darren Lee, friend of the podcast, had 2 of those interceptions and a touchdown. Sam Darnold played out of his mind, and while the interception was one of the worst interceptions, I watched that and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? And I promise, Kyle, I'll bring you on in a second. His performance is that much more impressive because he did it after that. You could not start your career any worse than how he started it, and he came back, forgot it. As a 21-year-old rookie, I mean, think about that. You're on the road, Monday Night Football, your first start. You're starting, this season in New York in a dome, and you throw a pick six across your body off your back foot to open up your career, and you just forget about it, move on, next play, and you lead a touchdown drive the next drive. You have 2 touchdowns. You have 200 yards. You played practically a perfect game. I mean, you only had 4 incompletions after that. So bravo, Sam Darnold. Bravo to the entire New York Jets team. Special teams, defense, offense, coaching, everything was in sync, and it's good to be a Jets fan. And we haven't been able to say that for a while. And just after this week. And no, do I think the Jets are going to the playoffs? Probably not, no. I mean, they're in a weak KFC. They have a pretty easy schedule, but I'm not going to drink the entire green Kool-Aid. But it was at least a sign of promise, a sign that these last 2 years of completely sucking might have been worth it, that McCagnon and Bowles might have had a plan, and that they might be heading in the right direction. So without further ado, I guess I'll bring on Mr. Money. Kyle Fahey. Kyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I think Jets fans have a lot to be excited about. Fitzmagic is back and alive. I'm going to enjoy the next 3 months of this as Tampa Bay fans just, oh, he stole crab legs, get him out of here, and yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he can do it for 2 or 3 more years. Ben Roethlisberger, how many interceptions? 3 or 4 against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are competitive. They are going to be very good this year as long as Tyrod Taylor can get rid of the ball a little bit faster. Maybe Baker Mayfield towards the end of the year. But bad teams are playing well right now. The Jets are one of them, Ben, and that is rare. I can't tell you. No.
Well, that's positive.
No.
I know what you mean. There's a growing shift in the NFL. That something was growing on Monday night, and it was on me. But just the excitement in this game, I didn't even see the first play because I was at work, and suddenly I just felt my pocket buzzing. I had 6 missed calls, 18 Snapchats. I mean, everybody in the world who knew me was hitting me up. Oh, Sam Darnold sucks, blah, blah, blah. I get home. There's 10 minutes left in the first quarter. We're doing well. Get the interception. Darren Lee gets an interception. Probably one of the happiest moments of my life as a Jets fan and as friend of the podcast, Darren Lee, or friend of ours. I guess we could say. I had to throw that in there. Love saying that.
I do love saying that. We definitely have to send him a shirt now. But he fulfilled his promise. He told us his first interception, he was going to take it to the house. And we definitely saw that combine speed, showing up there. He brought it home. He got another one, didn't take that one home. Jamal Adams got his first interception. this was just overall a really great game for the Jets at all three levels. And when all three levels are clicking like that, that is a dangerous team. And kudos to the special teams and Brent Boyer for getting their shit together in a matter of 2 weeks and being able to, one, find yourself a kick returner and Andre Roberts, who I think currently holds the highest. I know it's only week 1, so please don't crucify me, but currently holds the highest, punt return and kick return average in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that one. I'm gonna take that as we can.
And we should add before we bring on, we're going to go to, in a second, we're going to bring on Travis Wingfield to talk about this Sunday's game between the Jets and Dolphins. And I'm sure he's listening and grinding his teeth at some of the stuff we're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's reactionary
he's
podcasting.
So hard right now.
In the sense that, the Jets played one game. And do I expect to – I don't expect the Jets to have another game like that all season. That was an anomaly. And hopefully it won't be in the future. Hopefully in 2019 when, the Jets have the most cap space in the league and can, spend a lot of money and can keep building around Darnold and whatnot, then they can have more games like that. But I'm not completely expecting that. I'm just saying I've never seen something like that. Even the Bills game last year where the Jets were dancing, that was in the middle of November and the Jets had won like 3 games. Yeah. This was to start the season. It finally feels like, being a Jets fan this past decade, really since the AFC Championship has not been easy. 2015 was the only highlight. But, outside of that, 2011, 2012, 2013, they were all crap teams, no hope, trotting out Clyde Gates and David Nelson and Ryan Fitzpatrick, Geno Smith. So, anyways, Monday night was an anomaly. But hopefully it's a sign of things to come. It was just promising to see that, McCagnon and the Bulls their plan might have actually started to work out. You saw some guys who in the past haven't been playing well. Brian Winters in this offensive line played out of their mind.
Well,
that we talked about this last week. Me and you both predicted the Jets would lose, and I said
yes
because one, the offensive line has a lot of holes on it, and then on the flip side of that, I didn't. And sorry, we should bring on Travis because I don't want to keep waiting too long. But on the flip side of that, I didn't think they were going to be able to provide any sort of rush, and both of those things are wrong. While the Jets didn't get any sacks, Matthew Stafford, in his pocket was collapsing all game long. Henry Anderson played well, Leonard Williams played well, Frankie Louvu, shout out to Manish Mehta for not only predicting that. He made 3 bold predictions on our podcast when Meta came on. He said Sam Darnold will be the week 1 starter, which when he said that was not a known guarantee. It was in late July. He said that for his surprise player to make the roster is Frankie Louvu, who I'd never heard of, and he was right. And Frankie Louvu made a big impact in this game. And I started one that Chris Herndon's going to be a star, but we haven't really seen Herndon because he was hurt all training camp. So we'll see. All right, we're going to talk a lot more about this game. We're going to bring our callers. We'll dissect it. So lots of breakdown on Monday, but we'll pause on that for a little bit, and we'll shift our focus to this Sunday. And Kyle, we had to bring on your good friend, Travis Wingfield, who lead writer and page manager for Locked On Dolphins, and so you can follow him at Wingfield NFL.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. As a Jets fan, and you can also
find him
at Locked On Fins as well, with a P and an H. As a Jets fan, I do see Travis Wingfield on my timeline a lot.
Too many times.
I have to say, I think we can unmute him in a second. Travis and I used to follow each other, but I'm pretty sure after a Ryan Tannehill debate, we do not anymore. So hopefully we can reconcile the friendship tonight.
Ben, I don't even think I follow you, to be fair.
Yeah, Kyle's blocked me on 3 social medias. But
I have.
Anyways, without further ado, Travis, thank you for joining the podcast. How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Hey, I think you guys paid me back for all the Twitter timeline stuff with that 10-minute verbal fellatio of the New York Jets Week 1 performance, so I appreciate that.
Oh, man, I gave him I busted it wide open for them right there. That was...
Travis, we don't ever get to do that. I mean,
I know.
We've been doing the podcast for 3 years, and every season was terrible.
Dear God.
This is our season? It's our 3rd year doing this podcast. And that means we have 2 seasons of 1 season of Fitzpatrick and the other season of Josh McCown. And they sucked both seasons. So this is really the first time on the podcast we've ever been able to talk positive about the New York Jets. So we'll shift tones and talk about your team, the Miami Dolphins. Your thoughts on their game on Sunday, which was pretty interesting itself. It was 7 hours. It's a crazy long game. Must have been tough to watch as a fan. But what are your thoughts on the Dolphins heading into week 2? Kind of, you've seen them, in a regular season matchup. You watched them all off season. Kind of your thoughts on the Dolphins as a team that not too many people are talking about right now, kind of flying under the radar right now, but had a nice performance against Tennessee.
Yeah, first off, thank God they won that game because it wasn't even enjoyable, man. Having 2 2-hour breaks in the middle of the game, it wasn't fun. I couldn't even enjoy the other games like I normally do on Sundays. just because I'm wondering when the hell the game's going to kick back off for the third time. So as far as a fan goes, it sucked. I'm just glad they won because, all's forgiven now. But as far as the way they played, I felt like the lightning or whatever, the sunshine delay or whatever it was down there was more of a detriment to the Dolphins than the Titans, because it seemed like every time the Dolphins started getting into a rhythm offensively, something would happen, or I guess the lightning threat would happen, and they had to take them off the field, and they kind of bogged back down after that. So they were really in a good rhythm. The running game and passing game were working in tandem very well. All those new pieces on offense got involved in the game early. So it was exciting to see. A couple of mistakes definitely made it a closer game than I thought it should have been. But all things told, a pretty good win for the Dolphins.
Yeah, no, undoubtedly. And I have to say, I think it was the longest game in NFL history, right?
Yeah, 7 hours, 8 minutes.
Well, my apologies to you. As a fellow football fan, I can't imagine that was enjoyable. But I will say it had to have been a little bit enjoyable for you because, one, Dolphins football is back. But, two, your main man, Ryan Tannehill, back under center after a torn ACL. What are your thoughts with him, back under center, back on this team, back as a starting quarterback? You don't have to watch Jay Cutler anymore. Just kind of your thoughts on...
Don't insult the cigarette-smoking god, all right? We don't allow that on this podcast.
I'm sorry. No Jay Cutler slander on this podcast.
Yes.
His Nike, I think his Nike ads, those like fake Kaepernick ads, and Barry Cavallari are the best thing I've ever seen Jay Cutler do. So It doesn't include being on the football field. But yeah,
she's pretty good.
Oh, she's nice. She's nice.
Yes.
It's nice to have a change at quarterback, or I guess go back to what we used to have at quarterback, because you look at that, even that Jets game last year, the first one in the Meadowlands, when I remember hearing like Dolphins beat writers and fans like, oh, it's so cool the Dolphins are going to get, another bye week to start the season off. And it's like, well, since when is going to New York an easy win for us? So you saw that happen. And then Jay Cutler throwing off his back foot and not getting into the right play calls. It was a mess all year. And you could see from day one with Tannehill that is not going to happen again. At very worst, they'll lose closer games. They won't go through all those blowouts again. So just the control he has of the offense and the kind of leadership over the team that he has is such a big upgrade from Jay Cutler, as I'm sure you guys well know.
No, obviously. Talking about Tannehill, though, and this is, I think, the hill that you will always die on, and I actually don't disagree with you to a certain extent. And I'll extend an olive branch. I think Ryan Tannehill is probably the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's elite.
No.
And I know we're hopping into this debate because, Travis, I know you have very strong beliefs about Travis Wingfield. And so I'll give you the mic to make your pitch as to why Ryan Tannehill is a top quarterback in this league. Your pitch to Jets fans, because Jets fans and other NFL teams fans just crap on Ryan Tannehill all the time. And some of it's deserved when he has a bad game against the Jets or whatnot. I'm sure he gets some hate, but just your pitch to Jets fans as to why he is a top quarterback in this league and why he doesn't deserve to be replaced by a rookie this upcoming season. I know last year I saw some beat writers talking about how the Dolphins should trade up for Josh Rosen or whatever. Just kind of your thoughts on Ryan Tannehill and why he is a top quarterback.
Well, you can turn the All-22 on from the Titans game and just see a good comparison of what a decent, acceptable level quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, and that's about as low as I'll go on him. I do think he has upside to where he has, several games a year where he can carry a team. Most of his games are going to be kind of playing that trailer role when you talk about the trucks versus trailers, where he kind of guides an offense along. But he does have the ability to go out and win games on his own. And then I'll have a few games every year where he has a crap fest and we lose because of him. So, he's not that elite level. I'm not saying that. I've never said that. He's somewhere on the back end of that second, maybe top of the back end of tier 2, maybe top end of tier 3. And you watch the comparison between what he was in that game compared to Marcus Mariota. Mariota missed so many throws in the 0 to 10 yard range. And then you bring on Blaine Gabbert, and it was even more than Mariota missed, as you could imagine. Tannehill doesn't do that. Every throw in the short to intermediate range is on target. It has good zip. He's such an accurate passer with the football, and there was a long running myth that he couldn't throw the ball down the field. I don't know if you guys saw that throw to Kenny Stills where it was put right on his chest from 48 yards away, just perfectly thrown football. So his accuracy is really good. He doesn't make the big mistakes from the physical standpoint that everyone seems to pin on him. Now, where he is lacking sometimes is in the post-snap processing, and that's something you'll see when he plays like a Baltimore Ravens defense or even a New York Jets defense that does a lot of things where they change up their fronts or disguise their coverages, overload pressures. that can get him. That's where he is not elite and can kind of step back in his game and have those couple of mistakes. But as far as like a physical mistake standpoint, they don't happen. He does not ever, he just doesn't throw inaccurate balls. And it's crazy to me to see the perception that he has developed in the league, because once you earn a reputation, it's almost impossible to shift it. And he was starting to really change a lot of those things in 2016 when they won 8 out of the 13 games that he started, when he was a 94 quarterback rating passer, when he was a top 12 passer rating, top 10 YPA, all these things that were top 10 numbers from a quarterback perspective. He was doing all that. You could see the improved footwork in the pocket. You saw the improved deep ball. You saw more leadership role taken on by Tannehill. And then he goes out for a year, and that's when everybody forgets about a player, is when they get hurt. Look at like David Johnson last year. I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, well, I'm not going to draft him in fantasy. Like, he had a fucking wrist injury, dude. Like, who cares? He'll be back. He's fine. He's a great player. And Tannehill came back in game one and looked exactly the same that he did in 2016. So I have no questions or concerns about the quarterback. Like I said, I know he's not elite, but you don't have to be elite to win championships in this league. So as long as they can construct a team around him that fits his strengths, they can win a lot of football games and make the playoffs with Tannehill, no problem.
Yeah, no doubt. And I actually don't think we disagree on this topic as much as I maybe initially thought. I agree with you fully. I think part of the perception may have been he's been victim to some bad teams. I mean, I'm not trying to crap on the Dolphins, because certainly my Jets haven't looked too good in the
Oh, dude, go ahead. I mean, the offensive lines they've had, not to cut you off, but the offensive lines, you see the game on Sunday, he got pressured 3 times on 31 dropbacks, and it's all the difference in the world for a quarterback like him. In the past, it was, I can pull up a game against the Bills back in like 2013 where he got sacked on 3 consecutive plays, and the rush arrived in less than 2 seconds on every single snap. I mean, this team has not been good for a long time, and it's just, he finally has an offensive line that can protect him. I think that's why you're going to see a big jump this year from him.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a plausible scenario. And kind of what I was saying is I agree. I think he's a 10 to 15 quarterback. I said to Kyle, before the show, I kind of see him kind of as a Kirk Cousins type of guy. I don't think he's Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, you put him in a team like Minnesota, you put him on a team that has a lot of talent around it, I think he can win a Super Bowl. I don't think he's ever going to stop the Dolphins from winning a championship. I don't think he's going to be able to carry them completely by himself. But yeah, in a few, I mean, I don't know how the Dolphins are looking this year exactly, but yeah, if Mike Tannenbaum and the Dolphins brass are able to build a good team around him, I know Mike Tannenbaum gets a laugh from Kyle. If he's able to build a good team around him, at least even a decent team, I think Ryan Tannehill is good enough to take the team to the playoffs. So I'm not the biggest Tannehill hater. I'm not his biggest apologist. I don't think he's an amazing quarterback, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback, and I don't think he's, some fans have him, he's not even top 20. No, I think he's probably around 11, 12. He's a good quarterback. The Dolphins, when they drafted him, they got pretty much exactly what you would hope for. He's not a superstar, but he's a above average to solid quarterback. Moving forward, let's talk about some other parts of the Dolphins offensive line. I guess I could pass the mic to Kyle. I guess I've been dominating the conversation for a while. Kyle, would you like to say anything to your best friend?
Well, I would like to say, for one, I like domination from time to time, so I guess it's okay. I want to talk about some of the I want to talk about some of the matchups in the game, because I think we can all agree the Jets defense looks pretty damn good. I don't know if that's just because 5 interceptions and a solid pass rush, or we're, actually good. Well, I guess we'll find out. But let's talk about our New Jack City, which I don't know if you've heard yet, but is the best secondary in the NFL, apparently, against your Danny Amendola, Kenny Stills. And is Devontae Parker going to be healthy? Is he going to be ready for game 2?
Kyle,
who gives a shit? I mean, he's the 5th best receiver on the team, in my opinion, and Danny Amendola was 4th. So those 2 guys really, to me, I don't. Whatever.
Okay.
Can we not forget?
I know you're an Albert Wilson stan, but Devontae Parker's the 5th best receiver on your team.
Well, I mean, for one, he can't ever get on the field. That's a big part of it.
I know that's the big part.
The guy basically spends his free time watching SpongeBob and sending out Snapchat lip sync videos, so I know he's not working on his craft. And it's just the same story with the guy. He's lacked professionalism his whole career. He's never going to get it. He's never going to get it.
What is wrong with lip syncing videos and watching SpongeBob in your free time?
Because you're not 16. You're not a 16-year-old chick anymore. That's why.
Oh, all right. Sexism is a part of our podcast now. Thanks, Travis. But in all reality, let's talk about the matchups on where we're going to see these players. Well, we know the role that Danny Amendola played in New England, and God damn it, he beat the Jets whenever he fucking could. But what is he going to be doing in this Dolphins and Adams Gate offense, and how is Ryan Tannehill going to be using him against, I'm assuming, guys like Buster Screen and Mo Claiborne?
Yeah, he's really like a security blanket for Tannehill at this point. Is like Jarvis Landry replacement, the guy that he leans on when he just wants an easy completion. But for what I saw on Sunday, Amendola looks like he really doesn't have much explosion left in his game. Looks like he's kind of. He's not my favorite of the bunch. Obviously I told you I'm a Jakeem Grant, Albert Wilson, and Kenny Stills fan, but Amendola.
Oh God! Don't even get Ben started on Jakeem Grant.
I was trying to interrupt you earlier, not to be rude, to just mention. Travis, I have a question ready about Jakeem Grant, so I'm going to save my topic.
I don't want to talk. No, I don't want to talk about Amendola anymore. Let's change subjects.
Okay. Let's talk about Jakeem Grant because I got a lot of hate when I complimented the Dolphins, which isn't easy for me to compliment a rival. But I said I love the Jakeem Grant pick in the late rounds. I think he's an amazing kick returner and specialist, and he won Special Teams Player of the Week. And I think he's a gadget player in offense. Kyle, that is literally. I didn't say he was going to be Odell Beckham Jr. in offense.
No,
but he led the team in receptions.
Special Teams Player of the Week. That's bullshit. Should easily be Andre Roberts.
I don't know. Jakeem. Anyways, my point is can I finally get an apology from? I don't know if it was. I don't think it was necessarily. I think it was Kyle Smith.
It was Kyle Smith,
former host of
AFC. He loves Jakeem Grant. He loves him, and by that I mean he hates him.
Yeah, he hated him. He hated him so much, and
Kyle
I was just
Smith,
like, why are you hating this 6th round?
I invited him on 2 days ago, and he refused to come on the podcast because of you.
Because nice.
He texted me today.
That's unfortunate. No, but I mean, look, I think Grant was he a 6th rounder?
Yeah.
As a 6th rounder, you got a guy who is, and look, this is a position where the Jets have been struggling to fill. And look, is Andre Roberts the permanent solution? Who knows? He had a great start, but this is a position the Jets have been looking to fill since Leon Washington in 2009, or I guess Brad Smith in 2010. And the Dolphins were able to, the Dolphin killer Brad Smith.
Leon Washington.
Yeah, I forgot about Leon. Little Leon taking kickoffs back. But look, I mean, this is a position that the Dolphins were able to fill permanently their punt return and kick return, and they got a guy on offense who's just a speedy gadget player who's going to get 3-4 touchdowns. Anyways, my point is I think Kyle Smith owes me an apology for all the Jakeem Grant slander, because although he's a Dolphins player, he will always be. Always have a special place in my heart, as I desperately wanted the Jets to take him.
Well, I mean, you guys can call him a gadget player all you want, but he's a lot more than that. You watch the way the Titans tried to defend the Dolphins. They would go too deep. Dolphins ran the ball with a lot of success, so then they had to come up and play press man on the outside. And the Dolphins put him over to that boundary side where he gets a one-on-one matchup with Malcolm Butler. And because of his speed, they have to play off. And he can just take those 6, 7, 8-yard hitch routes all day long. And if you want to come up and try to stop that, he's got 4.3 speed to burn. So, I mean, this is a guy that's going to make plays. I will promise you can slander him all you want. He's going to be an impact player in this league, and he's doing it already. I mean, he came on late last year in that Patriots game on Monday night, made a couple of big plays in that game. And ever since then, he's been making plays. His yards per target, his yards per route run, those numbers are all high. And it continued on Sunday.
All right, let's talk about, because I'm sick of you giving head to Jakeem Grant right now. Let's talk about your corners versus our wide receivers. Hate to brag a little bit, but the Jets have a pretty solid receiving core, whether the media would like to acknowledge it or not. I think you know damn well the threat of Robbie Anderson and Quincy Enunwa, and I think most people in the NFL know what a healthy Terrell Pryor can do. And then Jermaine Kearse added back into the mix because it looks like he's going to be a go this week. And then your secondary, I'm a fan of a couple of the guys, specifically Minkah Fitzpatrick, who you guys got this year, Rashad Jones, T.J. McDonald, Bobby McCain, guys of that nature, and Xavier Howard also in there. What are the Dolphins doing a lot on defense, like with their sets?
Oh, yeah, in the secondary. So we're already off to a bad start as far as our own self-scouting department goes, and that's been a problem with Adam Gase all 3 years now. They don't tend to play the right guys early on, and we have 5 defensive backs that kind of belong on the field in that nickel package, and one of the guys that needs to play every down is the one you mentioned, Minkah Fitzpatrick. The guy's a freaking star already. He's so good. We feel about him the way you guys feel about Jamal Adams. He had a 4th down stop on the goal line on Corey Davis, who was like twice his size. He had a couple of PFLs. He's just everywhere, and he's awesome in the slot. He had, I think it was four targeted passes in his direction, allowed 2 yards on those 4 targets, so very good day for him. You mentioned Bobby McCain. He had, I think, 1 catch, allowed 7 targets on the outside. He's our new second outside corner, along with Xavier Howard, who late in the year last year had a big-time season. And you mentioned Rashad Jones, 2 picks there as well. So they're going to try to use those 5 guys, and I didn't mention McDonald because he did not play so well on Sunday, but you're going to try to use those 5 guys in your base and nickel package as much as you can, and it's going to be an aggressive zone defense they're going to play. So they like to pass guys off a lot of 3 deep, 2 deep looks, and try to kind of jump routes underneath on those flat routes from, Xavier Howard or Bobby McCain. So they like to play the hook zone with the linebackers and kind of play an aggressive zone on the outside. So you'll probably see a lot of zone in this game.
You talked about the linebackers, and I know you're not the biggest. I believe you're not the biggest fan of Kiko Alonso, if I'm remembering correctly. Am I right?
That is correct. That is correct.
And then Raquel McMillan, who is finally healthy, second-year player. I think most people liked him coming out of Ohio State. And then Jerome Baker, who's a rookie third-round pick, I think off the top of my head. I mean, you have a young linebacking core in exception to Kiko Alonso, who was a huge anti-Castro guy. So with, like you said, passing off guys and playing in the hook zones, do you think that's something the Jets can take advantage of, especially like physical, fast receivers like Quincy Enunwa who have played the H-back role before and definitely know how to take advantage of that?
Yeah, I think Enunwa is a big one. And I remember last year when he got hurt, I was like, that's a big deal because, even though the Jets are supposed to go 0-16, he's the kind of guy that can give us fits over the middle of the field. And I think that's going to be the case for pretty much any team that has guys that can work that part of the field, whether it's a receiver, a tight end, a running back, whatever it might be. That's the best way to attack this defense is to go after the linebackers in coverage. And for some reason, they refuse to take Kiko Alonso off the field. We had one of the worst 3rd and long defenses in the NFL last year. Actually, I think it was dead last. And that was because we never used dime package, even though it was 3rd and long. They kept Kiko out there. He'd go out wide and cover a freaking move tight end or like a Dion Lewis type, and he just can't do it. So it's super frustrating. That's what they do. That's what they stick with. He's going to keep doing that. And like you said, that's a place to take advantage of the Dolphins defense.
Are you worried about the Jets' offense and not just receivers? And I hate to keep complimenting us, but Bilal Powell and Isaiah Crowell statistically are some of the best. I think Isaiah Crowell technically was the best in yards per catch, or yards per reception, as receiving backs out of the backfield.
The thing that worries me, yeah, I would say that does, but the thing that gives me most confidence in the Dolphins is the ability to rush the passer. I think that their game plan on Sunday against the Titans was more about containing Mariota than it was trying to sack him, and they did that. He only got out of the pocket once for a positive run, so that was nice to see. I think that Cam Wake-Brandon Shell matchup favors us very, very nicely, and if you want to double Cam Wake on that off the left side of that defensive line, you're going to have to leave Robert Quinn by himself, who has just been a freak since he got signed or since he got traded to Miami. So I think that pass rush is what really gives me confidence in the Dolphins' defense against the Jets' offense.
I know the addition of I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going back and forth here. I know the addition of Quinn brings a new element to the team, but if I remember correctly, I think Brandon Shell held his own against Cam Wake pretty much last year, right? I'm remembering correctly, at least in the second game. I remember giving him kudos.
Let's see. I think Wake had several sacks against you guys last year.
Well, Cameron Wake.
I know he had
Cameron Wake is probably
is
probably the number one jet killer that's been on the Dolphins in recent years. I mean, every game he has 2-3 sacks.
He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, the guy's gonna win when he wins. I'm not trying to say that Brandon Shell's a pathetic right tackle if he gets beat by Cam Wake, but I recall Cam Wake. I thought he did okay in the second game.
He had 3.5 sacks in the 2 games last year.
Okay, and how many were in the first game?
1.
1? Okay. I don't know. I remember giving Brandon Shell kudos against Cam Wake. I'm going to have to go look at that again, but...
Well, to be fair, like you said, Cam Wake is just a freak, so anyone he goes up against is going to be a rough matchup.
He's 36 now, right? 35, 36?
Yeah, 36.
Yeah, 36.
Yeah, 36.
Christ. He's like Tom Brady.
I didn't realize he was that old.
Dude,
yeah, no, he's old.
He didn't come into the league until he was 28 because he played up in the CFL, and he broke the sack record there back-to-back years. All right, we'll give you a shot to play in the NFL, and he's just been a menace ever since then. His off-season regimen is so crazy if you ever get a chance to, if you're interested in that kind of thing. He does not eat. He doesn't eat anything that is not good for his body. It's really remarkable.
That's exactly what Tom Brady does.
Yep, there you go. The TB12, baby.
I'm eating a 2-pound bag of peanut butter M&Ms. Do you think I'll be able to break the CFL sack record?
Put that in the freezer, man. Then you're flying.
No way. I'll take that from you because I know you get really hungry at certain points.
Yeah, but okay, to bring it back from whatever that discussion was, talking about the Dolphins' defensive line versus the Jets. Yeah, Travis, I think you're right. I mean, I'm not going to let one Jets game sway my opinion that I don't think the offensive line is particularly great. I'm not, Kyle, I'm trying to keep my green. Look, I'm a Jets fan, so I have a lot of self-hate, and it's hard to fully trust everything that I saw on Monday. While the Jets offensive line looked good, you have to remember Ezekiel Elliott went out, and when he was in the game, I think he already had 2 sacks, right? He at least had 1. I think he had 1 or 2 sacks. So, look, I don't think this offensive line is amazing. I think there's a chance that they're better than we initially thought they were. But, yeah, Cameron Wake is a jet killer. And while Brandon Shell had a good game last week, he wasn't going up against Cameron Wake. And that is a matchup that I'm worried against. And I think that it's definitely one of those things where it's going to be a big test for Sam Darnold. It's his first real pass rush that he's going to have to take. But on the flip side of that thing, Sam Darnold is at his best when he's under pressure. When that magical sloppiness that Dan Orlovsky was talking about earlier. When the pocket breaks down.
I love that term. I love that term so much, magical sloppiness, because that's what I hope to get every day.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
We are off the rails.
We're not even going to acknowledge what you just said.
Thank you.
No, but it's like, and that's exactly the type of quarterback the Jets needed. One that didn't need a perfect, pristine offensive line, where a guy like, and I was a big Josh Rosen fan, where a guy like Josh Rosen might have needed a nice, clean, perfect offensive line. But yeah, I think that Cameron Wake matchup is certainly intimidating, and then the Quinn matchup as well. But I think if the Jets, you're right, if the Jets can limit the pass rush, or even if Sam Darnold can kind of just do what he's been doing with Jeremy Bates' system, getting out of the pocket, avoiding the rush kind of in again, that magical sloppiness kind of way, I think the Jets can win this game. Travis, I want to ask you about a particular player, or I guess 2 players, looking in the Dolphins' backfield, Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore. And I guess I have a personal interest in Kenyon Drake as he's on my fantasy team this year in the TOJ Money League, so I kind of need him to play well.
I'll
ask you, what was I not supposed to do? He was available, and he was a good pick. He was available pretty late. I was like, I'll take Kenyon Drake. Why not?
But was he?
Yeah, he lasted a while. I was like, oh, shoot, he's still available. But yeah, Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore, obviously kind of the carries were leaning towards Kenyon Drake. Gore actually did okay in his limited action. Kind of your thoughts on the Dolphins' backfield, especially going up against a Jets run defense that is red hot. I mean, the Lions couldn't run for anything. I mean, I think Garrett Blount had 2 yards the entire night. Obviously,
they could have diarrhea and not run.
Oh boy, jeez, Travis, you see what I have to deal with on a week-to-week basis.
You guys sound like you're the best friends I've ever met.
We get along so well. Our chemistry is just off the charts. But talking about Frank Gore and Kenyon Drake, kind of your outlook on this Sunday's game. And I guess, overall, and this is on the Dolphins podcast, but, your overall outlook on the season for them, how they'll split those carries, because, I'm kind of, curious, should I be benching Kenyon Drake right now, or is he a guy to put in as that flex player?
No, yeah, so one of my biggest pet peeves all offseason long was everyone talking about how Frank Gore was here to share the carries with Kenyon Drake. That's not the case. He's here to complement Kenyon Drake. Drake played 75% of the snaps on Sunday, and Gore played 30%. They actually lined up in the backfield together a couple of times, so that's a new look, a new wrinkle for the offense. And I'm actually publishing a piece tomorrow morning on LockedOnDolphins.com talking about how the Dolphins have reinvented their running game from a year ago, where it was all outside, inside zone, and now they have different looks with split zone. They had a counter tray play they ran on Sunday. They used some inside trap, some toss. There was all kinds of different variety that really created yardage in the scheme, rather than just asking Jay Ajayi or Kenyon Drake to break tackles and get all the yards after contact. So it's Kenyon Drake's backfield. He didn't really get involved as you'd like him to be, as much as you'd like him to be as a Dolphins fan in that game. And Gore had a couple of big, nice runs that he ripped off. And I think those had more to do with the play calls than actual Frank Gore's talent. Because, he does a good job of kind of getting skinny and finding creases, but he's not explosive. You guys know he's not an explosive player. He's 35 years old. He hasn't averaged more than 4 yards per carry since 2001. That's a joke. But, Kenyon Drake he's just such a superior talent that it's not even freaking close. So Drake is going to be the guy that really kind of determines the direction of this offense, whether it becomes more run heavy or pass heavy. And I think that because of him, you can lean on, do a lot more things, and especially in the passing game too. He can get involved in the passing game. He had a long pass completion last year, or reception, I should say, against the Patriots on that Monday night game. He caught another long one in the preseason from Ryan Tannehill. So he's definitely going to be involved in both aspects of the game, and his blitz pickup has really improved from his rookie year too. So I'm very, very high on Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, I like Drake a lot too, and I think I'll definitely look into playing. It's always hard when a fantasy player that I have is playing the Jets because it's like, well, I don't want to cheer for them, but I kind of do like this matchup. Yeah, he had 3 receptions for 18 yards last week, and then on the ground 14 for 48. Obviously it's hard for running back those 7-hour games that always happen, I guess. But I guess he was in a harder position. I also had Derrick Henry in that game. So my running backs did not put up that high of numbers. But all right, Travis, a few more questions for you. I'll start with 2 of them, and then I guess Kyle will close it out. I'll start with the positive for the Jets, so a negative for you. An area on this Dolphins team that the Jets should try to look to attack. So the biggest weakness that you think the Dolphins have that Todd Bowles, Jeremy Bates, Casey Rogers, whoever it is, should try to scheme and attack to inevitably win this game.
So the linebackers, we already talked about that, so I'll do something else. I would say try to just create as much interior pressure on Tannehill as you can by sending blitzes up like Dan Kilgore and Jesse Davis, the right guard there in the interior defensive line. And if Josh Sitton doesn't play, which I guess he got dinged on Sunday, I didn't know about it until today because he played every snap. But if he's out, that's going to be a really big problem for the Dolphins in this game, especially dealing with guys like Leonard Williams and your defensive line that you have there. But I would just say trying to create. Hey, nice one.
Travis gave you the pity laugh. Yeah, that wasn't funny, but I'll chuckle so it's not awkward.
I'm sure he gets a lot of those.
He gets them all the time.
No, fuck you guys.
So yeah, just create pressure up the middle on Tannehill, because if you can do that, it can really disrupt his game as it does any quarterback. But on the offensive side, that's what you got to do. And then defense, just go after the linebackers as much as you can. You mentioned Raekwon McMillan. He's pretty good against the run, but he's not going to go out there and cover a speed back or a physical tight end. So I would go after the linebackers and the interior offensive line.
All right, and then on the flip side of that, things that the Jets need to look out for the Dolphins, an area, a position group or whatnot that the Jets really need to watch out for on Sunday, or else they could fall to 1-1.
Well, I mentioned the pass rush earlier. I'll stick with that, but I'll also go with the speed of the Dolphins receivers, just because in that game against the Titans, they really lulled them to sleep early on with, like I mentioned, a lot of those hitch routes or back shoulder routes where they kind of tried to draw them up into that press man coverage. And then late in the fourth quarter, it was like Pearl Harbor going deep on them. They connected on the deep one to Kenny Stills.
One day after an American tragedy. What the fuck, man?
That's why you got to bring it up. It's all called show business there, bud. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, one got picked off. It was a bad read or miscommunication by Tannehill and Jakeem Grant on that route. But they really attacked deep Berkeley once the Titans kind of started coming up and getting out of that too deep zone. So if the Jets do that, they just got to keep an eye on the Dolphins speed at the receiver core, because they have 3 guys that are sub 4.4 or sub 4.45, I should say.
To be fair, you were going against Malcolm Butler.
That was fun. He gave us the fins up thing, like he mocked the fins up thing, and then he got smoked for a touchdown. That was fun to see.
Malcolm Butler is so pathetic. I think the Patriots were better not playing him in the Super Bowl. Like I've never understood the love for him. He's just not a good corner. He is consistently beat down the field. You can just run past him. You don't even have to be physical. He is just consistently burnt, that guy. Now, press inside, he's pretty solid, but just run past him. It's not hard to beat him. But anyway, I want to get a bold prediction from you for Sunday, and I don't care who it's for, like the Jets or the Dolphins. I'm assuming it's going to be Ryan Tannehill. But go ahead and give us a bold prediction.
Bold prediction. Well, I mean, as far as like the score of the game goes, do you guys really
No, you slick bastard. That's my next question. Give me a bold prediction.
Fair enough. Bold prediction is that Jakeem Grant will get deep on your defense once to make a big play. How about that?
Fuck you. How about that one? All right, score prediction for me.
Yeah, so, I mean, do you guys really expect this to be anything besides like a 3-point game? Isn't that kind of how Jets-Dolphins always goes? And I expect it to be kind of a ugly game, one of those kind of where the offenses struggle to get anything going and the defenses both shine. So I would say it's probably going to be like 20-19, like a 1-point game where a late field goal wins it. I don't know who it's going to be yet.
All right, that sounds like a Jets win. Ben, I think since Travis is on, we got to let him know. I'll just give my Jet take on it. The way I'm looking at this, I think you guys upgraded. Obviously, you're getting Tannehill back. You added Quinn, and you added Fitzpatrick. I think those are 3 pretty solid upgrades overall, not only to your rotation depth with Fitzpatrick and Quinn, but obviously getting your starting quarterback out. At the same time, The Jets got a better corner. We got a better pass rush. We got a better quarterback. The offensive line is healthy. The receiver depth is much better. I think overall the team is just significantly better, and I think, honestly, the Jets beat you fair and square 2 times last year, even though fucking Matt Moore just, God, that game really pissed me off. But the Jets...
It wasn't Matt Moore. It was that they threw it when they were in their own 20. I mean, yeah, Buster Screen got smoked.
No,
Matt Moore
led them a comeback.
Yeah, our third choice
quarterback. But it was then it was Josh McCown threw across his body, and I guess that's
okay. Obviously the Jets messed up because we lost the game when we were up by 20. But
no, we were 14. Yeah,
14. But Matt Moore led the comeback. That was the game Tannehill got hurt, right? Was that the end of his season?
No, that was the game before that. The first game we started in 2016 was after Tannehill got hurt.
Oh, okay. But I think the Jets beat you fair and square 2 times last year, and I think the Jets have improved way more than you guys have. I think the Jets actually win this game by, over 7. And I may be a little confident coming off the Detroit game, but I think the offense is good enough to be better than your defense. And even if you have a solid pass rush, I know that the middle of the field for you is suspect at best, and I don't trust younger guys like Jerome Baker and Raquan McMillan to be able to keep up with guys like Quincy and Bilal Powell out of the backfield. So I think the Jets will play pretty well.
I did like how you snuck in that Darnold's a better quarterback than Tannehill right now, because I couldn't disagree more with that. I know you guys are excited about the future, but it's the second game of his career.
I didn't say he was a better. I didn't say that.
You said they got a better quarterback. You can play the tape back.
Yeah.
No.
No. From last year, we upgraded at quarterback over McCown.
Oh, okay. I see.
I was saying the Jets got better. I meant as upgrades to your team. That's why I went over Quinn and stuff, and I said the Jets got substantially better. I guess that sounded wrong. No, Tannehill is currently a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. Give it a year, though.
But Travis, I'll say this. Going into Monday, I would have said Matt Stafford's a better quarterback than Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold outplayed him. So,
yes.
I mean, you can't overreact to one game. I mean, you guys, he played really well. Don't take anything away from him. He's going to be a good quarterback, I think. But I mean, we're still talking about a rookie in his second career game.
You're definitely right. You're definitely right. Tannehill has proven it, and Darnold has yet to. But I'm saying I think the discrepancy on Sunday won't be as big, even though Darnold's sample size is smaller. I will say I'll disagree with Kyle a little bit. I don't think the Jets are going to blow the Dolphins out. Todd Bowles' teams have, it's a different team, but have been historically bad coming off.
7 points isn't a blowout.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought you said the Jets were going to handily win it. That was what I heard.
No, I said around.
I mean, Todd Bowles' teams have been historically bad coming off of feel good. I mean, just look at the Jets-Bills game, and then look at the few weeks later, because I think they had a bye in between, Jets-Bucks game where the Jets, what did they put up? 3 points?
Yep.
3
it was pouring raining.
Anderson had a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think you guys are 3-point favorites right now, right?
Yeah, I believe so as well. I think they'll win it in a close game, but I think it's going to be an ugly start. I think it's going to be one of those things where after halftime the Jets might pick it up a little bit. But Travis, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and look, hopefully we can have you on later in the season when the Jets play the Dolphins again. We'll have more of a sample size of how these teams are playing. I apologize if over the past, I think it was probably last year or something, that a Ryan Tannehill debate split us apart.
So Ben, this is like the liberal Syracuse and Ben already. He's like apologizing for a Twitter debate.
I don't even remember why. Travis and I definitely got in a Twitter debate about something. I forget what it was though.
Follow me back, and I'll reciprocate because I just get so much crap on Twitter every day from people that I have a pretty mute finger these days.
You have 5,600 followers right now. I mean, you have a pretty large following, and then obviously you're running things at Locked On Fins. So yeah, I mean, the bigger you get, the more hate you're getting, I guess, even if it's from the Jet Take podcast. But Travis, really quickly before you let you go, let our listeners know where they can give you a follow, even though they're 99.9% Jets fans. Obviously, you know your stuff about not just the Dolphins but the NFL. So I do recommend the follow if you want to keep your in the division knowledge up to date.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's at LockedOnDolphins.com, the Locked On Dolphins podcast, which is Monday through Friday. But I know you guys don't want to hear that. And also my Twitter handle is @WingfieldNFL. So just beg that follow. And I talk most about the Dolphins, but there is some football stuff in there too. So.
And one last thing before you go. I know Ben said last thing, but he lied. Well, can we officially deem you a friend of the podcast?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you'll be getting a shirt. I'm guessing you're like a small?
Medium.
Medium? We've gotten that answer before. Also, what other podcast can you say fuck on multiple times?
My own.
Oh, well, fuck you. All right. That's right. That was going to be a special moment for us.
All right, Travis. Thank you. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Friend of the podcast.
Okay, guys, thanks. Take care, boy.
Thanks for being on.
Again, that was Travis Wingfield with Locked On Dolphins. Definitely gave some good takes. I agree with him. I think he's a pretty even-keeled Dolphins fan, and I was trying to be as neutral, I guess, as possible. It's hard when you're hosting a Jets podcast, and especially after a win that just happened 48 hours ago. But obviously good stuff there from Travis. All right, Kyle, we're going to go through some callers here, and then we'll wrap things up. I guess we'll start with Todd. I think I don't really the software is being okay. I'll start with Todd. Is the other not all right?
No, the other one's Mike.
Okay, is Mike not coming on, or is he just listening?
I think Mike's just listening.
Okay, sorry. We have to decipher that every week.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to Todd here. Let's talk about this Monday night game. Todd, welcome to the podcast. How you doing, man?
How's it going, guys?
Todd, I don't want to fire you this week. How do you feel about that?
That was a
Wait,
terrible
what's that?
That was a terrible Todd Bowles joke. That just
Ben,
the
how about
only
you
reason
shut
I
up
realized
and let him
that.
hear it?
All right,
I
sorry.
mean, I get it, but that was okay. I guess we'll just move on.
Yeah, it was one of the worst jokes I've ever heard. Todd, I agree with you.
Yeah, that was
A solid no from the crowd.
that was a crazy game. I will say that. I mean, I was just kind of like texting back and forth with my family, who are both like Eagles fans. So, they like the Jets. So they kind of just like watch the Jets and root for them for me. And they were just texting back and forth with me, like just completely like jaws dropped to the floor, like unbelievably amazed at what was going on. And I mean, you know, that kind of I guess speaks to the national perception of the team, but also like the special teams was just like dog crap like the whole preseason, and then all of a sudden like they literally couldn't do anything wrong in this game and just on special teams. It was just so unbelievable. So it's not a bad time to be a Jet fan, at least for the next week.
Yeah, at least for the next few days, and when inevitably the Jets lay an egg on Sunday against the Dolphins. Let's just hope not. But yeah, as I kind of said at the top of the show, like I've seen the Jets win in dominating fashion before. I mean, in 2016, that Thursday night game against the Bills, the color rush, the white jersey,
colorblind,
the red jersey. Yeah, not the colorblind one. The introduction of the white face mask. That game, then the game last year against the Bills in 2017. I mean, they've had good games. They've had dominant games. They've had games that probably were more important. But it was just, I think it's the culmination of one, having your rookie quarterback, youngest quarterback to ever start, play that well. You have a team that's full of 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds that are dominating, and they just played fast. They just looked good.
It.
I've just never seen anything like. I mean, Darren Lee, for the most part, has struggled in his first 2 years. He's had good moments, and he's flashed. Friend of the podcast, Darren Lee, who he has flashed, and he's made tackles. I'm like, if you could just do that more consistently, or he's made a break in the ball. But yeah, he struggled for his first 2 years, and we talked, when we talked to him over the summer. We kind of talked about it a little bit, about the hate he gets, and look, I couldn't have been any more happy for him, the performance he put on. I think the Jets defense just flew around. I would say the Jets defense was more impressive to me than the offense was. And obviously Sam Darnold was the star of the show, and I love seeing Enunwa and Anderson back as the dynamic duo, and Corral looked really good in the offense. Like the offense was amazing, but how fast and how well the defense played, that was the best game I've ever seen a Todd Bowles defense have. And it wasn't with.
What will be really interesting, though, too. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
Will be because, like, you heard all the players like Adams and Lee talking about, being able to read the defense and like knowing what the plays were, everything like that. And like, it'll just be interesting if they knew all that stuff. One, because the Lions didn't change their schemes from year to year or their signs from year to year, but also because they had like 9 months to prepare for it.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if that same type of preparation, carries over to the Dolphins and then, like, also to other non-divisional opponents.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to have an entire offseason to prepare, but at the very least, they showed themselves, look, how they can play, and they showed themselves how to prepare. They showed themselves that, look, you put in the work, watching film, it's going to pay off. And, yeah, I got to say, I'm quite excited to watch Marcus May return, because I thought he had a pretty terrific rookie season. I mean, he made some mistakes at times, but he was a guy that I was really excited to see. And Kyle and I were talking about Doug Middleton earlier, and how, he played all right. He was probably around an average safety. But when they get May back, and, he's not going to be where he was when he first gets back, he's going to have to adjust from the injury or whatnot. But when they get May back, and especially as they head into those November and December games, if everybody's healthy, I mean, that secondary looked really good. I mean, Adams looked the player he was his rookie year ×2. I mean, he just had all the physical traits that he had last year, but he just was playing much faster, and the game just looked like it was coming to him. He was just around the ball every play. But you bring back a pretty good free safety in Marcus May, and it can pair with these cornerbacks. Buster Skrine had a quietly great game in the slot. I don't know. It's an exciting time. But again, I guess we'll move forward talking about this team and your expectations. Have your expectations for the season changed after watching that game? Because, I look at it and look, I don't think the Jets should do this, and, they've been pretty public that they're not. But you look at next week, they got the Dolphins, and, Travis is a big Dolphins believer, and I think the Dolphins are a better team than most, but I don't think they're an amazing team. They're at home. It's supposed to be the first sellout. Is this going to be the first Jets MetLife sellout, Kyle? Because Chris Johnson was saying that it's trending towards a sellout, and I don't recall if they've had another sellout.
I think we had a sellout in 2015 towards the end of the year.
I don't know. I don't think we did, because I remember people being...
First of all, there should be a sellout all the time. We're in a New York market.
Yeah, but they're in an 80,000-seat stadium. Anyways. Is
that a lot for NFL standard?
Yeah, it's a pretty big stadium.
I think it's also when the stadium came, because when that stadium opened, it was right towards that point where Rex kind of flips from being having the team ready to play and everything to the point where it was not as fun to go to watch Jets games and be at the stadium. So I remember that was the first games when they opened up. Yeah, and it was I think it was that Ravens game where Sanchez literally just got the crap kicked out of him every single play, and it was just so miserable.
Well, anyway, yeah, no, exactly. I think they had one good season. They've had one good season in that stadium, and I guess two if you count 2015. Anyways, so it's going to be one of the only sellouts that we've seen, or at least the first one in a long time at MetLife Stadium. So it's going to be a wild atmosphere. It's conceivable the Jets could go 2-0, and then on Thursday you're placing the Browns, who haven't won a game in 2 years. Conceivably, you could go 3-0, and then you're on the road against Jacksonville. I don't expect the Jets to win that game, but I'm just saying, do you think your expectations for the season have changed at all? In a weak AFC, with the possibility that the Jets can start 3-0, with the confidence boost they just got from last week, because not only was it a great game, but it also, morale-wise, showed the team what they can do, and that's going to pay dividends as you get further and further into the season when they face adversity, because you can turn around and look and say, look, we did this. Anyways, were your expectations for the season on Sunday different than they were on Monday night?
So, yeah, a couple of things. And first off, we were talking about May and Adams, or Adams and Lee and everything like that. One thing, too, it wasn't like they just had the interceptions and then, were average. They were, amazing literally the whole game aside from that. So that was one other encouraging thing about the games that each of those players had. And then as far as expectations, I don't know that they've changed. I think because like you said, the Jets under Bowles have not been very good coming off of losses. Even in that 2015 season, that was kind of one of their weaker points. Although they did string a couple of together, they still, generally had letdowns after, bigger wins. Even, with a veteran team like that, you wouldn't expect that. So that's always kind of been an issue with Bowles' teams, at least for the Jets. So that'll definitely be a huge test coming up this week. And then, I guess we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But either way, to be honest, I'm still kind of expecting them to be around 500, whether that's even, 7-9, or even a little better, 9-7. But I was kind of always expecting them to be around 500. To be honest, before the season, I was maybe thinking really on the low end, it'd be more like 6-10. Whereas, if you asked me today, I probably wouldn't say 6-10. So maybe a little bit like that floor is being raised a tiny bit. But
I think that the early part of the season is more of an easier schedule compared to the later end of the season, kind of like it was last year too. So I feel like we're going to have kind of a strong start and a tougher finish just based on the teams that we play and when we play them.
Todd, based off, I know we've only seen one game, but just right now, your early assumption, what do you think is the most, or what do you think is going to be the most consistent position this year, like positional group?
Good question. Let's see.
Thank you.
To be honest, I would say either corner or like defensive backs. I guess we just throw defensive backs in there in general, or
defensive line.
I like our receivers a lot. I just feel like the guy. First off, you got Quincy coming off an injury, so he played really well on Monday, but you still don't know how he's going to fare over the whole season. And then you got a guy like Robbie, who's still kind of coming into his own as a full-fledged receiver and route runner. So we'll have to see if he can. It seems like he's developed some better route running and maybe running some more just not just deep routes, but we'll have to wait and see on that, I guess, because his one score was still on a fly route. So there you go. But yeah, so I just feel like the receivers, while definitely better than the national media thinks, still maybe a little bit inconsistent.
What do you think is going to be the most productive core? I know, and I specifically say consistent because you can have a good secondary all year, or you can have a secondary that gets 5 interceptions in one game and then kind of drops off for weeks. So who do you think is going to be the most consistent group? That you can throw in a bunch of groups there: running backs, offensive line, quarterbacks, whatever it may be.
So the most productive was
stat-wise.
Yeah. As a collective group, I'll just say receiver. I don't think they're going to have one standout guy who gets 1,400 yards or anything like that. I just don't think they have that type of guy on this team. But you saw the skill that each of those guys have. Quincy dragging, what was it, 2 guys into the end zone or whatever, and then
the
Robbie,
entire Lions defense.
and then Robbie stealing the ball. Everyone was calling that throw a dime by Darnold, and Darnold played well, but that ball was underthrown. He had that guy beat by 2-3 steps, and he underthrew it, and Robbie had to come back and get the ball, and thankfully he did. But that just shows Robbie's athleticism and ability to get the ball, which in his first year he didn't do that. He had a lot of balls where he dropped, so he's clearly done a really good job working with the guys like Chad Johnson and everything to develop that trait and that skill. So it doesn't always happen when you see guys come into the league. Sometimes they just don't have it and they just never develop it. So you got to really commend him on that. So yeah, I think that as a collective group, we talked about those 2 guys already, and then also you got the Terrell Pryors and obviously the Jermaine Kearse, who hasn't played yet. I think those guys will be relatively productive for their respective roles on the team as well. So I think when you combine the stats of all 4 of those guys, along with anyone else in the receiving core, I think you'll see pretty good stats.
All right, Todd, last question. This Sunday against the Dolphins, your prediction?
To be honest, I think we're going to split with them if we're talking about the whole season. I think we are going to win this one and then lose in Miami, which has kind of happened each of the past couple of years. So I'll say 24-17.
All right.
Jets.
Yeah, it's still 2-0. Todd, thank you so much for calling in, man. Give out your Twitter so our listeners can shoot you a follow.
Yeah, it's at Todd_Miller03.
All right, sounds good. Todd, thank you for calling in, man.
Thanks. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
All right, we have one more caller for the night, and then we'll wrap things up. I guess we'll just go straight into it, Kyle. Go ahead and bring on Hakeem. It's been a while, Hakeem. You always call in towards the end of the show, so I think we've missed you a few times. But Hakeem, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Hakeem was on a couple of weeks ago with me, Ben, when you were.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, Hakeem, how's it going, man?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Yeah, usually I call in late because I'm just getting off work. I'm in the West Coast, but I'm glad I caught you this time.
Yeah, no, I think it was probably the perfect week to call into a Jets podcast and talk about the game that we just witnessed. Hakeem, I'll give you an open mic. Your overall thoughts on Monday night.
Man, I still got to sometimes wake up and feel like I'm dreaming because that was like the most impressive victory I've seen in a long time by our Jets. And we faced adversity in that game, plenty of times. And for us to bounce back in the way we did, and we scored 31 points in the third quarter, just annihilated them. When they tied it up at 17-17, third quarter, the thing I told myself, I said, I got to see how we finish. We got to learn how to finish this game. The first half was whatever. It's all about the second half. We blew so many games in the second half last year. We were the second worst team in points allowed in the fourth quarter last year. And then we scored 31 points in the third quarter and make a mockery of Detroit. So that way in the fourth quarter, all of our fans are behind our bench, and we just take over the stadium, singing our chant, just clowning Detroit, man. They're never going to forget that loss, and I'm never going to forget this win. That was amazing.
Yeah, no, undoubtedly. I think this is, and look, it depends how things go with Sam Darnold's career, and I guess the rest of the season, and the rest of this regime. But that game will go down as one of the fondest memories that I've had watching a game. Hakeem, more specifically, though, let's talk about some parts that we haven't really discussed. The edge rushing for the New York Jets. Frankie Louvu, in particular, had a very nice game, and this was the position that I was probably most worried about. It was this in the offensive line. I didn't know if they're going to be able to keep Sam, up, and then on defense, I didn't know if they're going to get after the quarterback, and if you can't get after the quarterback, that's going to affect your secondary, and so really it's the most important part of the defense. But the Jets were able to get pressure on Matthew Stafford. I mean, part of it was Todd Bowles' creativity on his blitzes. I mean, he ran a lot of blitzes out of the nickel with Screen or Nickerson coming off the edge. He had a lot of pressure up the middle. He even had looks where Leonard Williams was standing up on a third down. I mean, he was really mixing things around and got creative to compensate for his lack of a Khalil Mack or of a true outside linebacking talent that hopefully the Jets will be able to fill this offseason. But a guy like Frankie Louvu played well, and Jordan Jenkins always consistent in the run game and is able to provide his presence in the passing game as well. Just kind of your thoughts on that position group. Do you think, again, do you think it's one of those things where this is just kind of a fluke, or is this a thing where you think that position group and this defense as a whole can keep that up?
That defensive performance was just amazing. Lights out from them. Specifically, our outside linebackers and our edge presence was solid. Frankie Louvu did have a really nice game with a couple pressures and that batted down pass, in the second half. But I saw a lot of energy from him specifically. He was not giving up. He was a handful. Even if the tackle might have got, the early punch on him, the early hand on him, or got good placement on his sets, Frankie Louvu was still battling through, pushing him back, making that pocket really collapse. And then obviously with the interior pressure, it was just ridiculous. So I think overall our outside linebackers and edge have improved since last year. Now, obviously that's not saying much, but it's still an improvement is an improvement. And with Josh Martin, he's still a young player. Jordan Jenkins, young player. Now we have Brandon Copeland, who's got some special teams fire to him and more of an edge presence. And now we have Frankie Louvu. So, we've gotten better at that position. Obviously, we still got a lot more room to grow. We probably still need another big chip piece, but you got to be happy with their performance. Of course, if the defense still plays really well, if everyone else on the defense is still playing at a high level, then the outside linebackers are going to look solid no matter what because everyone else is playing great. But the times where maybe, we go up against an offensive line that has a great interior pass protection or run protection, then our edge presence is going to be more important in those games, and that's what we got to see. Can they step up? Can they not? But overall, just the defense gets me super excited. I'm excited about Frankie Louvu. Looks like we got another undrafted gem on our way. What's not to like, boys?
Exactly, Hakeem. Talking about Louvu, it was just kind of the energy he brought, which is not something we've really seen from the outside linebacking group, because Jordan Jenkins isn't a speedy, edge rusher. He's more of your standard every down linebacker. Is going to do his job on running downs, and then can do what he can on passing downs. And then Josh Martin's a similar way. He's not a physical freak, but Frankie Louvu came in, and it was like having Jamal Adams as a linebacker. He just flew around and made a few tackles for loss and whatnot. All right, Hakeem, a few more questions for you. I want one underrated performance from Monday. So obviously we're talking about Sam. Obviously we've talked about Frankie Louvu. We talked about the secondary. We've talked about it all. But I want one guy who had a performance that really stood out to you that not many people are talking about.
Yeah, I love talking about the people that don't get a lot of shine. And I'm going to throw, Kyle Fahey some love here because I remember, back in the offseason, we had Terrell Pryor, the best receiver. But listen, I'm just gonna say I don't agree with that statement. But
yeah, wait, pause, Hakeem. Kyle, can you just answer? Was Terrell Pryor the best receiver on the field on Monday?
Talent-wise, yes.
No, he was not. Hakeem.
Talent-wise, yes. Give him the reps. Give him the reps.
I like Terrell Pryor, and I think he's good. But you're gonna tell me that you'd rather have Terrell Pryor than Quincy Nunua? Give me a break. Hakeem,
yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, listen, you guys are right. You're both right in your own way. So I'm going to explain. Those 3 quick catches that Terrell Pryor had were really awesome. I believe they were all on third down, and they were conversions. So I think he had a really underrated performance. And honestly, if the game was closer, he probably would have had a lot more catches, if we were still having to throw the ball. I call it underrated performance because obviously he didn't score a touchdown, and not a lot of people are talking about him. And the reason why I want to throw Kyle some love was just because he had a bold take. Although I don't agree with it, I would still take Quincy or Robbie over him. But Terrell Pryor has some unique abilities that other receivers on the Jets don't have. With his size, his quickness, and his speed overall, and his just length and ability to go up and get it, we don't have that package. Now, he's like an X factor for us, and we line those 3 receivers up. So I'm just saying I understand where Kyle came from when he said that. I get it now more than ever. But Kyle, I still don't agree with him, but I just want to, give you my take there.
Right. Every year I throw out one of those, super hot takes. Like last year was that Bryce Petty is... Because I'm usually right about them.
No, you're not. You're usually wrong about them.
Last year was Bryce Petty was significantly better than Christian Hackenberg, and everybody laughed at me at Twitter for a solid week, and then Hackenberg fucked everything up, like I told you he would. And then this year, I saw a guy who's been playing wide receiver for 3 years, has a 1,000-yard year with Josh McCown and Cody Kessler throwing on the ball. I almost said Case Keenum, even though he's not that great. Injured in 1 year.
He came on Sunday.
He threw an interception. It wasn't phenomenal.
Didn't he have 400 yards or something?
I think he had 3 touchdowns. It was a Case Keenum game. He is not what they signed him for. I will tell you that. I'm not a big Case Keenum guy.
He had 3 interceptions. But he had 3 touchdowns, 330 yards, 84 rating. Yeah, the interceptions.
He had 3 interceptions?
Yeah, but he also had 3 touchdowns and 330 yards. So.
But anyway, I will take a young receiver who is fairly new to the position, is taller, faster, stronger than everybody, can win at any...
Whoa. Did you just try to slip in that he's young?
He is.
He's not young, Kyle. Hold on. He's 30. He's 29 years old or something. Hold on.
He's 27.
Yeah, he's not that young.
I think he's 27.
He's 29. He's 29.
He's
Kyle,
29?
He will be 30 in 2019.
Okay.
He's our oldest receiver.
No, Jermaine Kearse is older than him.
Jermaine Kearse is 28.
No, Jermaine Kearse is 29.
Jermaine Kearse is 28, February 6th. 28. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he's our oldest receiver, Kyle. I know he's new to the position, and I like him, and I think he's a good piece, and I like him in the red zone. I think he did some good stuff. I think he'll score a few touchdowns, and I think he's a great addition. I wanted to just sign him. He's not the best. He's the 4th best receiver on this team.
When's Terrell Pryor's birthday?
June. So he turned 29 in June.
Okay.
So I guess when they signed him, he was 28. But yeah,
fucker. You got me. All right, I will concede the younger point there.
Hakeem has a question. He'll ask this question, then we'll get his thoughts on Sunday. We'll wrap.
Yeah.
I'm struggling right now in this chair.
Guys, how does it feel to know that we have a quarterback that could potentially one day be the best quarterback in the league.
Oh, let's cool it, Hakeem. I love.
Just got hard.
I just said potential. I said.
I know what you mean, and Hakeem. I know what you mean. We've never been in a position like that. There's never been a position where that prospect, even with Sanchez, even when Sanchez was going to the AFC Championships, it was never that he could ever be the top. Look, I'm not going to make any proclamations after one game in a preseason. I think he's impressive. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, but you don't know anything about injuries or the talent that's going to be around him or how the rest of his career is going to go. So I'll cool it on it, but I'll say this. He looks very promising. He's the most promising quarterback that's ever suited up for the Jets while I've been alive. And I'm very excited about the future. But I'm not going to make any predictions about, how I think. How does it feel? You asked me how it feels. It feels amazing.
Yeah.
It feels amazing to have that thought in my mind, yes.
And I'm just looking at him still as a prospect that played one game, that had a great showing, that's showing a lot of poise, that has obviously won his team over and his coach is over. So, that's just exciting.
Oh, yeah. You kind of talked about the team and the coaches. I think that's probably the most impressive part as a 21-year-old, freshly 21. I mean, he just turned 21. That's probably the hardest thing to do as a quarterback, to come in as a rookie and garner the respect of your offensive line, your receivers, your defense, your coaches. I mean, everybody respects him in the locker room, and he's only been there for a few months. That's as impressive as that's super impressive, and that's a trait you don't really see in rookie quarterbacks. And there are two other ones that make him special, and the one was, which we saw on display on Monday night, the short memory, the ability to get over something. You saw Sanchez. Sanchez could ride the momentum quite well. If he was playing well and the team was kind of playing well, he could keep the team kind of where it was at. But if he threw an interception, he would get in his head. He'd throw another one. Sam Darnold's not that. He shut it off. I mean, that was a horrible start. It's the worst start you could have ever had, and he turned it off and printed an amazing performance. And the last thing is just his ability, his pre-snap reads. I mean, his processing speed is just so fast. And those three things are going to make Sam Darnold a special quarterback. But Hakeem, among other things, but those are the things that the processing speed, the short-term memory, and the leadership qualities have really stuck out to me, and that's something that I haven't seen in a rookie quarterback as much. Hakeem, your prediction for this Sunday. I want one bold prediction, and then your thoughts on the score.
Okay, yeah, this Sunday we got Miami opening up MetLife, so definitely predicting a W. And as far as a bold prediction, I got Darren Lee with another touchdown. Week 2, maybe a fumble recovery to the house. Let's do it, boys. Woo!
If Darren Lee scores another touchdown, Kyle, I need to think of a qualifier here. What do we do? I buy his jersey. If Darren Lee scores another touchdown on Sunday, I'll buy his jersey.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's your money, son.
I'll buy a Darren Lee jersey. I don't care. I mean, he's a good player.
And if Darren Lee keeps playing well, then
maybe I'll buy a shirt. You're right. Jerseys are like 100. I don't want to drop 100. All right, I'll buy a shirt with his name on the back.
No. You don't get to say no. The way you
Kyle,
said that.
What are you sacrificing here?
No. The way you said 100. No, say 100, Ben. You're not. Okay? I know where you're from, Ben.
Well, you tell me the mean streets of Portland, Oregon, I can't say 100. I have to say 100. Sorry.
No,
Kyle,
I'm sorry. The muggings at Barnes & Noble are just shooketh to your core. I know it.
Hakeem, thank you. Wait, did you give a score prediction? Yeah, you did. Yeah, sorry.
I didn't give the score, but I think I got them winning.
Oh yeah, sorry. What was I remember you saying the Jets were going to win, but yeah, what by what margin do you think the Jets will pull out the victory?
I got a 24-20 victory. I think it'll be close at the end, 24-20.
All right, Hakeem, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really quickly, shout out your Twitter so our listeners can shoot you a follow.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. You guys are the best. I always have a great time chatting up with you guys. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Hakeem Amir. Great show. One of the best listens all week. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Take care.
Thanks for being on, Hakeem.
Thank you so much, Hakeem. All right, Kyle, I guess we'll wrap there. Really fun show. Really happy with that. Big thank you to Travis for coming on the show. One of the more knowledgeable Dolphins fans you can talk to. So again, everybody go follow him at Wingfield.
Where you find those?
Yes, and you can also find him on Locked On Fins if you're for some reason a Dolphins fan or would like to learn more about the enemy. Kyle, big game this Sunday. Jets with a chance to improve to 2-0 I'm thinking they're going to win. I think it'll be close, though. I think Travis is right. I think it's going to be ugly at first, but I think in the second half the Jets will make some adjustments and hopefully can pull away with the victory. 3 games in 10 days, so we'll be back next week, right before the Jets face the Browns on Thursday Night Football. So, Kyle, any last words?
Going to go faster than Rick Pitino.
Again, another Rick Pitino joke, 2 weeks in a row. Let's make it a tradition. All right. I guess we'll wrap there.
Friend of the podcast, Rick Pitino?
I don't think we're going to pull through on that one.
No, I don't think he's going to like us. He's starting his own podcast, so, maybe we can...
Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Kyle, I'm
work
going
on
to show you... Okay. Well... okay, we're going to go to...
He didn't say no.
All right. We're going to go to... I forgot, we pick them. We haven't...
Yeah, I thought about that last
I'm gonna
week.
give you 60 seconds. So
okay,
this is rapid fire.
That's all I need. Like Rick Pitino. That's all I need.
Okay, ready? Ravens, Bengals.
Ravens.
Chiefs and Steelers.
Chiefs.
Dolphins, Jets.
Jets.
Eagles, Bucks.
Eagles.
Brown. You can give like a sentence explanation. I just don't want a whole paragraph.
Eagles, but I wouldn't be shocked if Fitzmagic shows up again.
All right, Browns and Saints.
Ooh. Saints in a close one.
Also, I feel like I should probably tag on this because it'll be shorter. Ravens and Bengals, I'll take the Ravens on the road. I think they looked really good in week 1. The defense is underrated. Chiefs and Steelers, I'll take the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes looked really good. Kyle, you were right. You looked like a set of
Deshaun Watson looked like crap, too.
He rebounded towards the end a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, in Gillette, it's hard for anybody to win there. Jets and Dolphins, I think the Jets will win it again. Close game, ugly to start, but the Jets will finish strong. Eagles and Bucks, I'll take the Eagles on the road. Is Carson Wentz in that game or no?
I don't think so. I think he's been ruled doubtful.
Okay. Well, I'll still take the Eagles. Don't trust Fitzmagic that much. Browns and Saints, I'll take the Saints at home. I think they had a kind of a fluky game against the Bucks, but I like Breeze. I like their backfield. I like their defense. Colts and Redskins.
Ooh.
I'll go to you first.
Okay, so the Colts team is significantly better than what it has been. Obviously, Andrew Luck is healthy, but last week they did not play like I expected them to. I expected them to beat the Bengals quite easily. So I don't know what to expect from them, and I know what to expect from Alex Smith, a pretty proficient offense, so I'll say the Redskins. Yeah,
I'm going to go Redskins as well. That was kind of what I'm leading. I think the deciding factor there is on the home. Home. I think Luck, is still coming back from that injury. All right, Chargers and Bills. Josh Allen making his first start.
Chargers by 30+.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers as well. Yeah. I don't think Josh Allen's going to be as embarrassing.
No, he'll be bad. He'll be very bad.
I think he's going to be bad. I mean, I think he'll throw 2 interceptions or whatnot. But it's not going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, Nathan Peterman bad. I think it'll be a step above what they got last week, but still not that amazing. Vikings and Packers. Packers are at home. I'll take Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I think he might be done for an extended period of time. So I'm going to go Vikings. Yeah, that's my clause there. Is if Aaron Rodgers plays, I'll take the Packers at home. If not, I'll take the Vikings. Can I also go in on that clause? Yeah, sure. Panthers and Falcons. Falcons easy. At home. Ooh, strong Panthers disagree. Looking good, though. Strong disagree. Yeah, I'm going to go Panthers. Steve Sarkisian is a joke. He always has been a joke. He was a joke at Bama. He'll be a joke in the NFL. He doesn't know how to utilize any of the talent he has on his offense. That guy is the bums of bums. He's down there with Mike Tomlin as coaches. Damn. Wow. Mike Tomlin's down there on the podcast. All right. Mike Tomlin's a choking puke. Okay. Oh, wow. All right, Texans and Titans. I'll take the Texans. I think they'll rebound after a rough week 1 against the Patriots. Texans. Yep. Cardinals and Rams. I'll take the Rams. Probably the most talent. Probably the most stacked team in the NFL. Lions and 49ers. I'll take Jimmy G and the 49ers at home. No. I'll go Lions in that one. I think they'll have a nice bounce. Yeah. I'm not on the Jimmy G bandwagon. Really? I think he's good, but I'm not. I don't think he's. Yeah, I think he got overhyped last season, but I think he's a solid quarterback. And I people forget the 49ers were the second worst team in all football until he came on. Yeah. I don't think he's as good, but I think Lions on the road have to play on the West Coast. Got shellacked on Monday Night Football. I think they'll play better, but I still think the 49ers will win. Raiders and Broncos. I will take the Broncos at home. Case Keenum, 3 touchdowns last week. I mean, I know he had the 3 interceptions, but I don't think Gruden's Raiders are looking too hot right now. Patriots and Jaguars. I don't think Gruden will make it out of the year. Oh, he'll make it out of the Cal. They gave him like $100 million contract. He's making it out. Okay, when they're like 0-13, because they're not good,
I think
he's getting
fired.
Kyle. He's getting at least 2 years. There's no way he'll make it through.
Well, what's his excuse? Oh yeah, we lost our best player. Yeah, it was.
No,
your fault,
it's going to be that this is what any rookie head coach's excuse is that
he's not a rookie head coach though.
I'm finding he's a rookie head coach. He hasn't coached in 10 years, and he's also it's going to be this. I'm finding my players. I'm still building my roster.
If finding your players and building your roster means getting rid of Khalil Mack, you don't deserve to have a job in the NFL.
I'm not a Gruden apologist. I don't think he's a good. I think he's
never been
overrated and much better in the broadcast booth, and I don't even think he's that good in the broadcast booth.
No, he's not good. At all. I don't like him.
But he'll make it through the year, and he'll make it through next year as well. After 2019, if he's really that bad, I think they can fire him there. But he'll make it. He'll get 2 full seasons. Patriots and Jags. I'll take the Jags at home. It's close though, and I don't
Patriots
ever like betting against Tom Brady. But
Patriots in a landslide.
I don't know. That defense could be payback for the championship.
Yeah, I don't care. They have Blake Bortles throwing to Keenan Cole. Yeah, that's not. It's not a nice recipe.
Who did the Jaguars play last week? Who did they beat?
The Giants.
Somebody. Maybe I do. I'll take Jaguars at home. And I don't love betting against the Patriots, but I'll take Jags. 4:25 game would be fun. All right, 2 primetime games. Wrapping it up here. Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys at home, but I don't love Dak Prescott right now. I'm going to take the Giants. I'm going to take the G-men. I think Stephon Barkley will have a good game. Odell Beckham Jr. will get back in the end zone. I'll take the Giants.
This should be a coming out game for the Cowboys, but I will also take the Giants.
Bears and Seahawks.
Bears, easily.
I'll go with my Northwest roots. I'll take the Seahawks. Why not? I think
Seahawks. Oh, is that what they call them there? Is that when you're typing your latest memoir on your Barnes and Noble Wi-Fi?
Is Barnes and Noble not? Isn't that like a national thing?
Yeah, but who reads books?
You could pick after like a
Starbucks.
I don't. No, that's what I'm saying. Starbucks is not. It's like you're picking after. Like
okay, but you're a joke
Target,
if you go to either of those places. No,
I don't.
Target is a place.
So I'm saying no. There's like 2. There's like one Barnes and Noble in Portland. I don't know what you're.
Okay, what's the Portland place?
Not really. It's not even from. Okay, anyway.
Unsaturated butter. Oh, carbonated water that tastes like soda. I know that's a thing.
LaCroix.
That's a thing everywhere, but if you drink that, you also I can't.
I do occasionally drink LaCroix. Okay, let's get back to that. Anyway, Seahawks. Anytime you have Russell Wilson, I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think the Seahawks are.
They have a horrible team.
They've certainly let their team go. But I like Carroll as a coach, and I like Russell Wilson as a quarterback. Chris Carson is a guy that I don't think is getting as much love as he should. I don't think they should.
That means you took him in fantasy.
No, I didn't, and I don't think they should have taken Rashad Penny in the first round. I think that was a bad pick. It was a reach.
Oh, that was a bad pick.
And so I think they've done a bad job building their team. But anyways, I like Russell Wilson. I think they have a few nice pieces. I don't think either of those teams are amazing. I do think the Bears are trending upwards. I like their head coach Matt Nagy, Mitch Trubisky to be determined, and I like a lot of the pieces they added this offseason, and Trey Burton and Allen Robinson and whatnot, and Khalil Mack obviously. I forgot about Khalil Mack until I just said that.
Wow.
I definitely forgot about Khalil Mack. He looked pretty dominant in the first half. And then
it's almost like he's a great Hall of Fame player.
He is. He looked gassed in the second half, but didn't go through a training camp. Actually, I'm going to change it. I'll go with the Bears. You're right. All right. We're going to end on a waffle. That's we'll end it.
David.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Jet Take. I think this is the happiest you'll ever see us here at the show. We don't really get games like that often, but it was a good game all around. One of the most fun I've ever had watching, and let's hope the momentum continues this weekend. Kyle, any last words?
You know where I stand.
That's relevant to the Jets, not the thing you do after the JTS thing.
No, I got nothing.
Nothing came to you. All right.
Yeah.
All right. If Darren Lee scores a touchdown this week, I guess I'm buying a T-shirt with his name on the back. I would say jersey, but if I can find a cheaper one, I mean the jersey is like $100 right now. All right. Anyways, we'll wrap it there. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Again, you can follow us at the Jet Take on Twitter. That's the best place to follow us. You can also listen to our show wherever you listen to podcasts. So iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Google Play, whatever, Stitcher. So make sure you go check us out there. Also, go to turnonthejets.com for the best New York Jets content out there. We are on there. This episode will be up there tonight. We also have some of the best writers, a whole Turn on the Jets digital podcast network, events going on. So make sure you go check out turnonthejets.com and find anything you'd want there. All right, Kyle, we'll wrap it there. We'll leave you with the best chant in the National Football League, which was pretty loud in Detroit this past weekend. And let's hope in front of a sellout crowd again this weekend, we'll be able to hear this ringing through the Raptors. We'll talk to you guys next week, Wednesday night, hopefully after Jets win, and previewing the Jets versus Browns on Thursday Night Football.
Rest in peace, Mac Miller.